Account Reconciliation. The Account Reconciliation tab of Books Review is where you reconcile the relevant accounts to complete the BAS. Let's go to Books Review under Account Reconciliation. In this section, we'll see Carol walk through the reconciliation steps to ensure everything has been accounted for. When it comes to reconciling accounts, in QuickBooks Online, you're not just limited to bank accounts, but we can also reconcile accounts in the balance sheet. If we choose Select Accounts, you can see that we have the choice of what accounts that we want to reconcile and be visible on our reconciliation screen. Carol is going to select the bank account called Better Banking Credit Union, and you can see as we go across, it lets us know that we've got 40 transactions that have been unreconciled. It also lets us know that it's never been reconciled. So Carol wants to quickly get onto this bank and make sure we reconcile it. So we'll choose Never Reconcile, and it takes us to the reconciliation window. The very first time that you do reconcile any account, it gives you a quick demonstration recording if you want to review it. But we'll just choose Get Started. It lets you know how you can reconcile like a pro. We'll click Let's Get Reconciled once again, and that's only for the very first time that you reconcile any bank account or balance sheet account. We choose the bank or the balance sheet that we want to reconcile. In this case, we want to do the Better Banking Credit Union. The beginning balance is 0, and we actually need a ending balance for the period that we're balancing to, and the ending date that we're balancing to. Now, there are other ways that you can click into Bank Reconcile, and the second way is by clicking on Accountant Tools. Under Report Options, it gives you the option of the accounts. It'll give you a reconciled date, reconciled balance, and then the current balance. The other way, of course, is by choosing Accounting and then Reconcile, and it takes you straight into the same reconcile window that we were in before. Now, let's commence our bank reconciliation. The first thing that we need to do is choose our closing balance from our bank statement, and the closing balance is $46,321.13. We choose the end date, which we are going to choose the 30th September as we are reconciling to the end of the quarter for the BAS. You notice that we don't have a beginning balance as we never reconciled previously. Top right corner, you've got a summary and history by account, which we'll take a look at in our next course. And let's choose Start Reconciling. And this is what your bank reconciliation looks like. This gives you an overview of what we're expecting for the statement ending balance. We started with 0. It gives you a total of your debits, which are your payments, and your credits, which are your deposits. Please note the transactions with the green icon means that this has actually been added from your bank feeds. So theoretically, every transaction coming through will be matching your bank feeds and should be a 0 different straight away, which normally does happen. But there are occasions where something has happened in the background, you've had to make adjustments, or you've entered in a manual transaction for a particular reason. And you can see that we are out $50,000. Reason being is, have a look on the 30th of June. We actually had an opening entry of $50,000 for our account. If I just click on that row, you can see you can cancel, edit, and save. If I click on edit, it'll take me straight to the transaction and I can work out what's actually happened. And you can see that this is our opening equity as of the 30th of June. So we know that we need to select this. So I'll close that one down. Once I select this, we are zero difference and we've reconciled. So you can see how quick and easy this will become for you. A couple of things to note is you've got an edit information button where if you've accidentally added in 13 cents and it should have been 14 cents, you can change. If you've accidentally added in the incorrect ending date, you can change that. So you don't have to go out of the screen and back in again. With the Finish Now button, we're not quite ready yet to close off our bank reconciliation, but you do have the option to save for later and you can come back and complete your bank reconciliation. Or if you want to go out of this altogether and not save, you can choose Close without saving. When we do complete our reconciliation, all we need to do is click Finish Now or Finish Now in that particular field. Please do note that you've got the option of these particular buttons where if you are out and you just want to see the payments, which is this particular column, you just choose Payments and only the payments will come up if you have to tick and flick from the bank statement, which occasionally I don't really need to do. Deposits, and you can see it only comes up with the deposits. So that's really handy if there is a situation where you do need to revise the transaction. So I'm just going to choose all. The other thing I want you to note is that we've got statement ending, date, clear filter and view all if you need to revise anything whatsoever. These transactions that are not actually selected with a green icon, you note that they're not actually selected in the Reconcile button. This means that they haven't come through from the bank feeds. A couple of different things that could have happened is manually someone's entered this in and instead of Better Banking Credit Union, it could have very well gone to the East Bank business account, or it could have been the credit card that it should have gone to. Let's just move them to the credit card and I'm going to save and close. So you can see you can do that really quickly on the fly. Edit. We'll move this again to the credit card. So this was a manual transaction. You can see how quick and easy it is if you only just do your transactions via the bank feed. But occasionally you may need to add in a manual transaction. So I'm just moving them across. Save and close. And as I scroll down, you'll be able to see that every transaction has been selected except for this one, as it hasn't gone through our bank statement as yet. And you can see it's not actually attached to any bank feed that's come through. The other thing to note is you can actually print this particular window off, or if you want to, you can edit your columns. Nice and handy to know. Now let's click Finish Now, and we've actually reconciled the account. So if we now go back to, actually before I go back, you can see the beginning balance is now $46,321.13. And the last time we reconciled was the 30th September. Let's go back to our books review, to account reconciliation. And you can see now that our Better Banking Credit Union is the 30th September 2022. So we've completed that particular transaction in the bank account, all done and completed. If I want to go back and have a look at the reconciliation I just did, I can just click in that row. It'll take me back to the actual ledger, which is quite handy for you to have a look at. And I can click Reconcile and it'll take me straight back to that Reconcile window. Let's take a look at the summary, top right corner. This gives me a summary of every transaction and banking statement that I've reconciled, history by account. And this is where we can view the report and we can print off the actual reconciliation report if this is part of your compliance. Let's go back to summary. History by account. And the other drop down is that you can actually undo a bank reconcile, which we're going to look at in the very next course that I do. which is really handy if something goes wrong, which we'll take a look at shortly. Now that we've completed, we'll go back to the books review, account reconciliation, and you can go along and reconcile any of the other balance sheet accounts that you need to. The other thing to note too is that you do have outstanding transactions. And this may mean that they're in other bank accounts, of course, you haven't reconciled. They go up to 90 days. So if you've actually entered something in and you haven't reconciled, that's where they'll be sitting. So if you need to, take a look at these as they may need your attention. You may need to ensure that you're constantly checking the entries also for duplicate transactions. These may be that you've entered in, say, a small amount, such as motor vehicle registration, which was paid by a credit card, but may have not been recorded with the surcharge. So this will not be picked up in the bank feed, so that when it came through, you've actually entered this in again with the surcharge. So this, of course, will leave you with an outstanding transaction in the bank reconciliation. And then you also have the shortcuts section again, where you can add in the reports that you're after or any other compliance that you need. And you can do that by clicking the add button as we did in the previous course that we just completed. Now, once that's done, all you need to do again is just choose done. So we've done that. We've reviewed the shortcut reports. And over here, we've actually done all our bank reconciliation. So we've completed. You can see you also have a client request that you can view, and you can create a new request from this section as well. Carol has successfully completed the reconciliation for the Better Banking Credit Union account, and she returns to the Account Reconciliation tab in Books Review, and she can see all the reconciliation dates that have been updated, so there is nothing further to be completed on her screen. She ensures that the to-do has changed to done, of course, and she will now check out some troubleshooting tips with reconciling the accounts.